All right, so good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another session of our CEJA reporting system office hours. Um, what I wanted to cover first before opening up to questions is just a few things that we are working on update-wise for the system. One of them is we're going to be making a couple changes. I know in the past we've gone over how the transfer requests operate, but what we'll be adding is, there's at the moment there's an email that gets sent when a transfer request is made, but we'll be adding a couple emails. One for accepting. So if the transfer request you made is accepted, you'll receive a confirmation email, or if it is rejected by the other organization, you'll receive that notice as well. So, you do get a sense of when those are, responded to by the other grantee organizations. But we also wanted to, another update we'll be doing is in this dashboard, um, just in case those emails go into like a spam or junk folder. We do want to stress that in the dashboard to check this row, respond to transfer requests, and this will pull up a list of your organization's a list of customers with your organization that you need to respond to a request for them. So one of the updates we'll be doing is just so customers don't kind of get stuck in between, is we're going to be moving this line in the dashboard to the top here. But again, we just wanted to stress the importance of checking those. And something that came up yesterday was a reported issue for navigators. When they come to the dashboard, it looks as if when they select the link for the count there for customers who meet the criteria of that line item, that only for these first two rows when they open the list that customers will actually display. So, but for the other rows they don't. And that's if they have navigator only access. So we'll need a programmer to take a look and make a correction so that the navigators can see in their dashboard not just the count, but also which customers that is for.
Hey, David, while you're on this one, could you scroll down in the dashboard? I had a question about one of these. It was the a little further. Let's see. I think right here. Yes. Okay, so customers who have all their service start completion statuses meet the deadlines set with the start end dates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've got a grantee who that says 100%, but then that red flag, customers who have one or more training services that do not meet the post-assessment criteria. And for that one, they're at 71%. And shouldn't those be kind of inverse relationship? And here's what how I'm thinking about it, right? The navigator has completed all the steps that they have with the participants. So they've got applications in the system. So they don't have anybody with an open status, right? Or like an open service that needs to be addressed, right? But then wouldn't that mean that all 100% of those people are not meeting post-assessment criteria because they haven't started training yet, right?
Well, let's see. So this line that I have highlighted here, this green one, I'd have to check, but I think that would also include customers who have completed their training services and would have, the post-assessment criteria in there.
Well, in this case, they don't have an active program to refer them to. So they're all in there as applicants. So none of them have started training.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we could probably look, I think, at an update where we'd only be looking at those who have been enrolled, rather than, pulling up this list here. And if we're seeing they're all applicants, there's really, no action to, or, down here, there's really no action to take until they are enrolled.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was kind of what I was thinking too, was like, well, like none of them are going to meet post-assessment criteria because they haven't started training yet. So I think what you suggest would address that. And we were having difficulty figuring out what was going on because, yeah, that was one of those where if you click it, it doesn't populate a list.
Right. Okay. Yeah, let me make a note of that here. Enrolled. Okay. All right. Made a note of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Nate. Let's see. So yeah, are there any questions anyone has about the system? You can add them into the chat or unmute your mic and ask away.
I think you responded yesterday about the grantee who still had kind of that block on there for not accepting applications. You addressed that one, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And then are you able to tell, like, on a system-wide basis, if there are other grantees who also still have that kind of block over their application submission?
Yeah, that's something I can take a look at. What I'd have to do is, go to this grantee details page, and then for each organization, filter to and see, what this question, is. But since we have, made that update for, that wait list, I think anyone who is set as no, we could, change that to a yes. That's something that I could do today.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Are there any questions anyone has?
Yeah, Yolanda had one. I don't know if she was able to get on. Thanks, Sarah, for helping provide that link. But I was noticing that I think it was the training video from last week. I think you were showing a button for barrier reduction services, but I just wanted to be clear. I think for us, it's actually wraparound services - itemized list that they would use, right?
Right. Yeah. So in a previous session, to add the costs for a customer here. Let me open up this.
It looked like everything else was the same, but for whatever reason, that one button said barrier reduction. But I think for ours, it's wraparound.
Yeah, and I think that was probably just a leftover from when, I think originally we were in the system and test, and that might have been originally what we discussed including, but yeah, we ended up using the wraparound. But
Okay.
yeah, to add, apologies for any confusion, but to add, costs to, if you have within the service needs assessment, you can add this wraparound support services itemized list service here. and enter the cost. And it's the same template, just a different, text title here. So here's where you'd assign it a goal, a start date and a completion date, number of hours, status, and select the service provider over here. And then on this dollar value of service tab, we can add the cost. And when this opens, and that's where we get the different service types. And again, based on the selection in the first drop down, the service subtype will be related to that selection. So here's all of our cost types for housing assistance. And yeah, Nate's exactly right that it does operate the same way here. Date service here. Go back to our progress page, and we should then see, once we refresh this, the cost going through here. Yep. Are there any other questions?
And do folks on the call, do they have any ideas for future office hour topics that you'd like to have us cover? Anything you feel like you need more training on? We might all be hunkered down working on our monitoring and year 2 renewal stuff.
Yeah. And just to point out, I think I see a lot of familiar names on this call, but just in case, for each partner guide, whether it's ClimateWorks, Workforce Hubs, or the Navigator page, we do have a quick start guide. I can add this to our, oops, in the chat here, that does walk through, with instructional handouts and short videos of the different parts in the system, managing that outreach events, partner engagements, adding customers and pre-screening, completing the application, the intake assessments, referrals, managing the services and the career plan, and then that program completion follow-up page as well. And let me just add that into the chat here just for reference. All right, well, if there's no other questions, I think we can go ahead and close out here. I will get this recording posted to the partner guide. And if you have any questions for either, system, anything in the system, or, otherwise, you know how to reach out to us. So with that, thanks everyone, and hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, David.